everybody.
Hey everybody, what's up guys?
Welcome back to our channel.
Yay, Unfiltered podcast.
I'm glad I always forget the name of it.
I know. I never put that on our Instagram post.
No.
I never put Unfiltered, and Emily came up with that awesome name, and we still.
we are
Lord
here
God.
not saying anything. Anyhow, welcome back to another podcast.
Thank you again. We've got more subscribers, so
Yes.
welcome to the family.
Hello, everybody. Drop it in the comment section if you're new.
They did in the last video.
Okay, well, I want them to drop it in this one too. And tell us your favorite type of onion.
What? I was going to say tell us what you like out of the podcast.
That too.
Tell us your favorite onion, red or white or
green.
what are we doing here?
Yellow, or tell us your favorite onion and what you loved about the last episode. I have to make it exciting.
We'll have to change it every week. Tell us your favorite type of rock.
Tell us your favorite type of carpet. Do you like drywall or no?
Oh my god. All right.
Woo! All right.
Let's go off to a good start.
We are off to a good start. So today we're kind of switching it up a little bit, and we're going to be talking about a book that we have.
Like referencing the book.
Yeah, referencing the book.
Yeah.
Because that sparked multiple conversations about the topic today, which is going to be...
I don't think we named the topic. I just want to talk about what happened. What sparked this whole thing.
We'll just call it what happened.
Yeah, what happened?
So what happened? What happened was... and Anastasia's going to be starting it off.
Yeah.
I'm passing the torch to you.
Okay, so thank you.
Torch.
Thank you.
The kids
I do, guys, by the way, have my Chobani with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not ice cold the way I like it because I've let it sit out too long. It's strawberry. And watery, so that's gross. I know one of our subscribers requested that I stop dissing Chobani so hard, but that's what's happening here. Okay, anyway.
I have a nice collagen sparkling tea.
Because she's bougie.
Vanilla hibiscus. Just so you guys know.
I'm closing the yogurt.
Ew.
Okay, so what happened was, I think it was like a week or so ago, we were, like you have celebrity crushes and stuff, and you're like looking stuff up. And like, on Instagram, they're like, what is your like celebrity crushes type or whatever? I'm not going to tell you guys my celebrity crush. Like, if y'all know me, then y'all know who he is. But
don't drop it in the comments.
Please don't drop it in the comments.
Don't drop it. Do not drop that.
But it said like it was like a list of things.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, at one point, he was like, oh, I like someone who's like into the same things as me, and I like someone who does this kind of stuff, and I also want someone who can handle my anger. And I was like, no.
Actually,
no. So like, it was interesting because like my knee-jerk reaction, honest to God, was like, no, that's what therapy is for.
Yeah.
That's not my job.
Mm-hmm.
So, cause it's interesting, cause that's like one of my new standards now for dating when I do start dating again, is, like one of the questions I want to be like, so are you in therapy?
Are you planning on going to therapy?
Do you have a therapist? Are you
looking into it?
And please don't get me wrong, like, I have full intentions on being in therapy, and I have no problem with that. It's like, I know me and my brain. And we can still do the disclaimer. Okay. So brief disclaimer, by the way, we are not therapists. No. We are literally just talking based on our own experiences.
Our own thoughts.
Please do not take this as medical advice. We have to say that. So anyway.
Take it or leave it. We're just talking about how we feel.
But it's crazy because my knee-jerk reaction, honest to God, was like, no, absolutely not. Like, that's not my responsibility. Mm-hmm. That's on him. But what really alarmed me was how, even though that was my knee-jerk reaction and I made like a loud noise almost with that reaction, it didn't take long for my mind to start like sinking into this idea of, oh, but like, I can't, maybe he just needs someone to introduce him to this other way of thinking. Yeah. Or, like, maybe I can, like, you hear all the time, like, I can kind of change the way he feels about that. Or I can, like,
fix him with that. Like, I can be the one who helps him get past all his anger issues or help him get past this one hurdle.
The Bell syndrome. Bell syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it was just, like, very alarming how quickly I went into this, like, oh, I can introduce him into this new way of thinking. And, like, it just really threw me off. Like, the way that went. So then that, like, led into, because I know, Sydney, like, you've been reading Rage Becomes Her.
Yeah, it's not called, we call it the Rage book, but it's called The Rage Becomes Her, The Power of Women's Anger. That's the book if y'all want to look it up.
We should have a book club eventually.
Ooh! I would love to start a book club. But it is such, like, a thing that is, like, kind of forced upon women to, like, be the ones to kind of, like, smooth it over and make it better. Like, they have to be more considerate of men's feelings rather than their own, and kind of just, like, focus, overall on them than anybody else. Like, I know someone who, even myself, if I'm being honest, like, there have been times where with my last boyfriend I was like, but I have to focus on his feelings first because that's more important than, like, focusing on my own, and, like, I gotta help him get through this. But what I didn't, like, actually pay attention to was, like, how I was doing with it all, and, like, how slowly but surely I was going to a really bad place because I wasn't taking care of me. Yeah. Because I was valuing, like, him and his feelings over my own. So it's just, like, because I do struggle with that kind of, like, a mindset, I'm not gonna lie. It's, like, part of me is, like, but I can fix him. I can be the one to change him. Like, I can be the one to make it all better.
But I think it's so, that mindset is so ingrained in media.
Yeah.
Like, it's so ingrained. Like,
well, not necessarily just media, but, like, family, like, school, church, everywhere. Like, it's always ingrained that women have to be the one to make it better.
Yeah.
Period. Like, that's just, like, what is, like, forced at women in general. Yeah. Which, like, getting out of that and being like, actually, no, it's not my job, is, like, it's hard.
Yeah.
And, like, for people who have, like, done that and be like, actually, no, that's not my problem. That's not anything to do with me. Go off. Let me know how you did it.
Well, I mean, I know for me, like, I've been finding myself now going back and forth because it's like, okay, so now I'm setting this new standard. So now I'm saying, okay, no, the guy that I'm with, to be honest, and I know this might sound weird or crazy, but, like, even before, like, what his religious affiliation is, it's like, yeah, but are you in therapy? Like, that's, like, that's the first thing that I'm thinking about now. But then at the same time, it's also this thought of, oh, especially because for how old I am, I'm at, like, the age, I guess, of getting married and all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but so here I am at this age, like, setting my standards. And there's, like, this, I guess, this idea that, like, that I've heard, at least, like, maybe for, like, the millennials out there, it's like, well, if you set your standards too high, you, like, so then there's, like, this thought of me, like, am I setting my standards too high this late in the game, which I know it's not late in the game, but that's still something that's, like, in the back of my mind is, like, but if I say he needs to be in therapy, like, therapy is still taboo. So it's, like, but that's something that I need, because, like, I don't want to be his therapist. Like, if we're in a partnership, I don't want to have to be his therapist. And I'm not going to depend on him to be my therapist. Like, and to deal with things in childhood trauma and unpacking issues and problems and things like that. And it's, like, that's one big thing that's, like, been running back and forth in my mind is, like, okay, but, like, am I setting the standard too high? Like, am I, like, so then again, my mind goes to compromising, just like it did before. It's like, well, now I feel like I'm compromising what I actually want out of the relationship, out of fear of setting the standard too high, and also offending and being like, oh, well, I don't want to offend you, but I think you need to be in therapy. Like, like first date. So hey, yeah.
So hey, therapy. Have you heard?
How do you feel about therapy? Like without knowing the person, but like that's something that I feel like now where it wasn't even on my radar, to be honest. Because I feel like the way I was raised when I started going to church and stuff like that was there's such an emphasis on, oh, he needs to be Christian. Oh, he needs to be. You want to be equally yoked, but they only apply that to whether or not you're Christian. And I'm like, equally yoked that's not what that means. Like, like I'm sitting here, like I've been spending the time that I have in quarantine, because like right now still unemployed and everything, like to just focus on, okay, so who am I? Like, who am I really? Like, I'm putting in the work. Yeah. Like, who do I want to be? How have past situations and past traumas actually affected me and changed the way I feel about the world, about myself, about people around me? So I'm putting in this work, and I now have an expectation that whoever I date in the future has also been putting in this work. Yeah. And that it's not me introducing, like, I don't want to be the one introducing this profound idea to this person. Like, I know, I mean, maybe to a level, but not like, this is the first he's heard of actually feeling your feelings. Absolutely not. Yeah. I don't want that. Like, you know what I mean? And so that's just a really, really huge thing for me, because I'm just finding that that's more important. But there is that fear of like, oh, well, maybe I'm asking too much. Yeah. Which. That's it. That's. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. Because I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah. I'm thinking about like the new list of like standards and like where it's at now, and I'm like, okay, but is this bar too high? Like, is he gonna be able to reach it or even like see it? Because I feel like it is really high. But like, if I sit here or handle you, get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Because there is also that stigma, like, are we, us being too much and us being too emotional and us having to, like, is he going to be able to handle it and not see it as aggression or as criticism? We're not criticizing. No. We just want something healthier than what we've seen. Yeah. You know? We want something better for ourselves than what we've been given. Or shown. Yeah. But, like, some of the stuff that I'm thinking about for, like, what I want in, like, a relationship and like where I want it to be, I'm like, but is this too much, or has this never even been an option for me? So me thinking of it as an option is like, you know, too much. Yeah. Again, like what you were saying, like handling. So I'm just like, okay, just trying to navigate my way through like, okay, what is it? Like, is this really too high? And then being like, actually, no, it's not. Yeah. This is like bottom level of what you should be getting. Well, and it's interesting because right before we started, like, I wrote down, like, this thought I have of, like, being brave enough to set standards that we've never seen before. Yeah. And that we've never seen practiced before. And, like, because, like, coming from, okay, so my mom was a single mother. The only marriage in my family that I can look to really is, like, my grandparents. But even in my grandparents' relationship, we're talking about a marriage that, you know, that happened in the 60s. Women don't have rights. There are things that as a child I didn't think were weird, but looking back as an adult and seeing certain things my grandparents would say to each other, or the fact that my grandmother sat in the kitchen and watched her TV shows on a really small screen while my pop-up had the TV in the main living room. And my mom was always the caretaker of my grandfather. Like, she's always, to this day, is taking care of my grandfather. And, like, women in her time did not have a voice. Yeah. So even seeing that, it's like, okay, now please don't get me wrong. I'm sure they love each other. I'm sure that they really care deeply for each other. They've been through hell and high water together. But I'm also taking into effect the context by which they were married. They're married. This is the civil rights era. My grandparents, you know what I mean? Like, there's just so many other factors that I'm like, I wonder how much of my grandmother was silenced during her marriage. I wonder how much she had to hold in. And even to this day, she's taking care of my sick grandfather. And she doesn't take good care of herself. Like, my grandmother at this point, I can tell she needs a break, you know? Yeah. So it's like, that's the only example for marriage that I have. And then even the church that I used to attend was, you know, one of those women are the help me. Women don't teach. Women don't have a right to do certain things. And then the marriages that I saw constantly were so just toxic. They were, you know, constant arguing or trying to embarrass the other in front of company and like, you know, controlling one or the other. And then that in turn started having one of them controlling their children, like to a crazy extent. Like, I've just never seen or had an example that was like, oh, so that's what it looks like healthy. And it's like, that's what it looks like to not have the woman have to be submitted and submissive to their husband, you know. And here I am, I'm not that chick. Like I'm just not. Like I've never been. I'm a huge go-getter. I'm just not like that. And I'm going to speak my mind. I want to talk. You know, I blame that Aries energy.
Aries energy. Okay.
Aries ENFP campaigner. I mean,
that whole. All of that.
All of it. You're the dragon. Chinese zodiac. Like.
Me too. You're the dragon. I know I say dragon weird. It's okay.
But like, I don't know. It's just interesting, like looking and seeing, like, especially through reading these books, that I'm setting standards that we do. Well, we're both setting standards that we do question because we don't have any examples of it.
Yeah, there's no like. No, like, little guidebook to help us walk through this and be like, okay, so this standard is good. This is good. Or even have, like, somebody to, other than really each other, to, like, bounce these standards off and be like, okay, so I'm thinking this is going to be, like, I want this to be a new standard. Or we were talking about it last night, how Anastasia was like, my knee-jerk reaction is, like, is he in therapy? And it's, like, that's almost my knee jerk, but I'm like, but it's okay if he's not. But I'm like, no, but he has to be. And it's like this internal battle of being like, but it's okay, but it's not okay because it's not my job to take care of him and take care of his emotions. That's his job, and I don't want to be like someone he can emotionally vomit on and then have us be like, okay, now that you've emotionally vomited on me, let's go on. Like, it's not for me to do. And I mean, we can have conversations, like, that's fine.
Because it is still a partnership, and of course, like, we're going to have conversations and talks about, you know, stuff we've gone through and things like that, but it should not be the mandate. Even for him. I don't want him to feel like it's his job to deal with me when I'm popping off. Because I mean, let's be real. Like, certain things hit a nerve that you don't realize is a trigger. I'm going to pop off. Like, but I don't, I want to get myself to a place where I do have those, like, what is it, like 10, 15 seconds where I'm like, okay, hold on. Why am I actually? And I want him to be mature enough to be able to do that too. To be like, okay, wait, why am I about to
why am I popping off like this? What nerve did this hit? Like, what can, like, you know, do that internal check, say, where is this hurting? Why is it hurting? Okay, now that I know where and why, how do I fix this inside? And then go and be like, okay, so, you know, this is what happened. This is where I'm at. Like, that's something that we started to, like, try and cultivate and start doing with our friendship, too, because there'll be certain things Anastasia says that hits a nerve, and I'm like, oh, okay, then that's how we're gonna be. And then she'll be like, okay, you need to figure out what's wrong with me. I'm like, actually, you know,
the same thing for me.
You're right. I do need to figure out what's wrong with me. And then I'll go inside, have a check, and then be like, okay, so this is what it is. Like, this is what happened, and this is why it was, you know, triggered like this. I know that this is just another example of my life that I'm going to find. About when Anastasia and I were in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, what was it? Oh, I sounded like a mom.
Yeah, you sounded like a mom, and I was like, get out.
I was in, like, mom mode, and I was like, you need to check yourself.
Yeah, and so I popped off, and then we were like, okay. So we came back home. She went inside, and I was like, you know what? I need to check myself. What's going on inside me? So I, like, went back through the big leap, and I was like, okay, like, what is it inside me that this is hitting? And then like, confronting it was hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It was scary. I was like, oh my God, like, this is like...
Because it's vulnerability.
Yeah, but I, like, talked myself through it, and I was like, no, this is just gonna... I'm not even finding it, so I'm just gonna tell the story from memory right now. No, this is gonna, like, actually deepen our relationship, deepen our friendship, and get us to a new place in our friendship. And after I had, like, talked myself through that, I was like, okay, so, like, this is what happened.
Yeah.
This is how I feel. This is what it hit. And she was like, okay. And then she was like, this is how it felt. Like, this is how I felt when you reacted this way. And, like...
Well, even when I said this is why I responded in the first place the way I did. Because all that the situation was doing was hitting an insecurity in me. So, I mean, but it's that willingness to be like, okay, let me actually sit and think. Because I have a tendency, I get very snappy when we're, especially if I'm stressed or I'm fearful about something, I just snap. It's not like yelling, but I'll snap back at people and stuff. And it's like, my patience is like on one when I'm like really stressed out. So then, like, I know, like, last night you were like, okay, but what are you so snappy about? Like, I don't understand what you're... And then I was just like, oh, okay, so here's what I'm actually afraid of. These are the things that I'm worried about. And then it's not like there was this huge to-do. Like, I didn't cry. I didn't, like, you know, like... But it was simple. It was just like, this is what's actually wrong. Like, this is what's really going on with me. And then me having to deal with, okay, so this is what I'm actually afraid of. Like, when it comes to, like, situations, just being stressed out because of life. But... yeah, like, I hold let's put it this way. I hold myself to the same standard that I would be holding my husband or my boyfriend or whatever to. So it's like, that's why, because I don't want to, sometimes, but see, there it goes again, like, that fear of, like, I don't want them to feel like I'm attacking them. I'm not, like, the protecting ego.
Yeah.
Listen. Feeling like we need to protect people's ego. Because I'm seriously sitting here, even when we were talking about, like, what we're going to talk about, thanks to my little sister for giving us some ideas
to Lexi
to like figure out what we're doing and really get the podcast together
Lexi,
for the
if
topics.
Drop it in the comments. Tell us your favorite onion.
But I know, like, when we were sitting and actually having a real conversation about what we wanted to talk about today, like, one of the thoughts was like, oh no, but if guys watch this, I don't want them to feel like they're being attacked, and I don't want them to feel like... And I'm like, why are we, like, at this point where I can't just, like, what is going on? Like, I should be able to be like, you should know whether or not you're this kind of dude.
Yeah.
If you're not, great. If you are, just check yourself. That's all we're saying. Check yourself. Ask yourself why you don't want to go to therapy.
Yeah.
Why you don't want to? Why you don't want to deal with it? Like, that kind of thing. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, even this is hard because it's like, kind of like what I know I said last week about this, like, giving up your right to remain powerless is it's scary. And that's what therapy is. Like, it's you giving up that right and you saying, like, okay, like, I'm going to have to take responsibility now for things. I'm going to have to take responsibility for my reactions, for my feelings, for my emotions, like, take responsibility for what's going on in my mind, like, the way I think about things. Take responsibility for maybe traditions or cultural, what's it called? What am I trying to say? Like, cultural normalcies that aren't really normal.
Yeah.
People just walk around and say, this is what we do.
Yeah.
To quote Cinderella. I'm sorry.
Leave. No.
To quote Cinderella,
no,
just because
house. No, get out.
It's done.
No. Okay.
Doesn't mean what's done is right. That's not the way it goes. But that's what I mean.
I think it's time for you. Wow. Okay, guys. It's been a great podcast. We're going to end it here. Goodbye.
But I mean, like, if we really look at that, because there's a lot of different cultures, like, I'm not trying to, just because, like, our culture is different, because even we're thinking differently from a lot of people in our own culture, like, here in America. But it's like, it's interesting how quickly my mind still went to when we were even planning this was like, oh, but I don't want to offend like guys that could watch this. Like, no, if you're not this type of dude, you should be fine.
Yeah.
Like, and you should be okay with having this conversation. And have the conversation.
And be willing to point out, like, your own things that maybe you're not the best at, too. Because, like, I follow an account on Instagram, and it's run by a man, but he's like, nah, I support, like, he's like, I'm a feminist. I support, like, I support these women, and I'm with, like, for calling out, like, in men, like the toxic, like, you know, toxic
masculinity.
Woohoo!
I think that's the word.
That is the word.
Because it sounded like you was going somewhere else.
I was trying to say masculinity, but it wasn't coming out. Where's it at? Yeah. Because like a lot of his posts are just like, what am I trying to say? He's trying to just like call out the toxicness. We having a hard time speaking. The toxicness of
the toxicity.
Thank you. Toxicity of some men. And he's like, he'll call out like the men that are like, but not all men. He's like,
yeah, those
you're
are the
one
ones
of those.
that it's like,
you're one of those people.
If you feel the need
to specify not all men, then you're probably a man who needs to go and like, you know, check yourself. And it's just a really good account. It's called the normal underscore normal underscore men. Y'all should go follow because it really is a good account and he posts a lot.
Yeah. Like
about, you know, like men showing you. But anyways, that's not besides the point. But it just, I don't remember where I was going. But now I'm here.
I mean, but that even goes into, and this is definitely a topic for another podcast maybe, but like the whole being 100%. So like we're used to hearing like, oh, he makes me whole, and sometimes you hear people go, oh, but that shouldn't be the case, but it's not really actually talked about. You know what's really frustrating me? Like, maybe this is off topic because I'm sitting here and I'm like a huge princess fan. I just went on
this whole tangent about an account.
I'm really into Disney princesses. I always have. Cinderella was my girl, my crazy talking to animals.
My favorite.
That's my chick, man. I love Cinderella. She's always been my favorite. I really related to her story growing up. I just really like Cinderella a lot. And then I have always had this like, oh my god, my Prince Charming. And then just thinking about that, but of course I'm getting older and I'm like, Princess Tiana's amazing. And I was like, well, Princess Tiana's different from all the other princesses. But I'm like, no. It was her job to fix Prince Naveen.
Yeah.
Like, that was her job.
That was her job.
And she was already working her butt off to do
Listen, this
girl was putting in so much work. Mm-hmm. The only Disney princess that had to put in that level of work already.
Yeah.
Then this dude gets her turned into a freaking frog.
Yeah, because she wanted to help him. She wanted to do it.
Yep. And then has to pretty much be the reason they even get to where they need to go.
She is the reason.
Yeah.
Because I remember his name. Oh, Louis.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, you can't see me.
No, she does her. Oh my god, the peace sign.
Okay, I need
pose.
You to take a seat or leave. But Louis is like, yo, we out here just trying to vibe. We out here doing the most, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, we're going to play some instruments down the stream. And she's like,
oh, yeah, she's the one rowing.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And she cooked. I can't. This is making me upset. Oh.
Yeah.
And then she's made to look like the bad guy for being so ambitious.
Yeah.
Even the song, you gotta dig a little deeper. She's like, I just gotta work really hard, and and everyone's like, oh god, she still doesn't get it. Yeah. But it's like, but that's all she knows.
Yeah, and it's not bad to be ambitious.
No.
It's not at all. It's good. It's good to be ambitious. And
even in that too, she carries the caring mandate because whenever Naveen feels bad, she's like, oh, but she's like, you're the best mincer I know. But dude could not mince.
He could not.
I'd be like, dude, you're not mincing right. Get out of my
go on.
Oh, but listen, that hits another thing. Oh, okay. We're running out of time. Okay. We might go over a couple minutes, guys. No, because there's this thing we both read about how there were surveys done on men when it comes to like cooking and cleaning and how they were just purposefully. Should I go or keep?
No, you could go.
Okay.
I'm just astounded.
How they will purposefully mess up like doing chores because they know that if they do that, the woman will eventually come in and be like, you know, forget, I'll just do it. Like, you don't do it right. I'll do it.
And then he's free to go do whatever the heck he wants.
Yeah. So it's just funny because she does that in the cartoon. Oh my god. It's everywhere.
It is. Oh my god.
Yo, I didn't even catch that.
No.
Jesus. Because I was like, why is Princess and the Frog bothering me so much this morning? Because I literally, I got up this morning and I was like, what what about this movie actually is making me angry? Besides the fact that, you know, never mind. I'm not going to get into that because that's a whole race thing. But but yeah, like I was just now I sit there and I'm like, yo, she did that. Like
she did.
She really did. So that's crazy. All right, we're at 30. There's so much.
I told you.
Listen, if there's things that you guys want to hear, please, or want us to talk about, like along this time, like topic,
the comments.
Please drop it in the comments. Like we would love, like we really do want to interact with you guys, and we want to like.
I know I haven't.
Talk about things you guys have questions about or resources. We'd love to actually have conversations with you guys about it. So,
even on if you follow us on Instagram.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can DM us questions that you have.
Yeah.
If you want to see more like interaction on social media, let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what you want.
Yeah.
As followers, like what would you like from us?
Yeah.
We're probably gonna stay on this topic for
a little bit,
a while because there's so much to it. Anastasia also hasn't even touched her yogurt. She didn't even put it back in the fridge.
I didn't put it back in the freezer. Now it's like warm. And
Ew,
that's disgusting.
I know my drink's warm too.
So.
But yeah, let us know how you feel. How did you feel about this topic?
Yeah, I know. I don't hope we weren't too all over the place, but yeah. So
yeah, let us know your thoughts, your opinions. Let us know if there's any like personal experiences that you have that you feel comfortable sharing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so sorry. I was telling her because Emily, our editor, we love her so much, but I never get her Instagram handle right. So Sydney usually does it.
Oh, I'm
so I was trying to be
sorry.
No, it's fine. No.
Okay.
Don't apologize.
Follow our girl Emily.
She's our editor, our editor extraordinaire. She's constantly hooking us up and taking care of us. We love her.
She's gonna put it up on the screen somewhere. What her Instagram handle is, but her Instagram is EMGH.
No, EMGRHUU. We love you, Emily.
Emily, I'm so sorry I got it wrong.
She's the dopest chick ever.
She is.
She really is.
She's really great.
Yo, like she's out here editing our stuff. She's still in high school. She's one of the girls I used to work with back in the day, back in Pennsylvania. So she's just really, really dope. We love her. So thank you so much. Thank you guys again for listening. We appreciate your time. The fact that you spend this time with us means so much. We love you guys.
We do love you guys. Thank you for those who have answered my question on my Instagram story.
Oh my God.
The correct answer is you can never have too many. Just a little fun fact for you guys if you wanted to know the answer. Anyhow, all right, guys, don't forget to like,
share and subscribe. Please share this because we do want to spark conversation, but we are creating a safe space for people to have this conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So,
and we'll have Emily put up our Instagram handles somewhere on this lovely screen.
Yeah.
And then, guys, don't forget to keep manifesting your dreams.
And remember, you can't change culture without disrupting it first.
Okay. Goodbye, you guys.
Bye, guys.